Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Christian McCarville.
And I'm Kelly Phillips.
And you're watching
Rider Sports Report.
Last episode, we spoke about the Fair Pay to Play Act that was passed in California and discussed how it affects Rider University. We already have a breakthrough with this as the NCAA just made an announcement on October 29th, which stated that the NCAA, quote, voted unanimously to permit students participating in athletics the opportunity to benefit from the use of their name, image, and likeliness in a manner consistent with the collegiate model.
The issue that has now surfaced as a result of this announcement is that they state in a manner consistent with the collegiate model. But the current collegiate model does not allow athletes to get paid. So what exactly does this mean? I'm going to throw it over to Dylan and Tom to go into more detail about this.
Thank you, Kelly. Now, Dylan, I want your first thoughts on this new rule the NCAA has enacted.
Well, I think that really it's about time the NCAA would do something. I remember when I spoke with Rider Athletic Director Don Harden for my story on this, he said that he feels that something would need to happen nationally. And also, he also said that once California passed its legislation, unanimously allowing student athletes to make money off their name, image, and likeness beginning in 2023, he said that the NCAA actually relaxed its language a little bit on the issue, and now it's really funny that now they're allowing college athletes to profit off their name, image, and likeness.
The NCAA publicly said that it's time for a change, and I think we can all agree on that. But there are some things that within the guidelines that we can talk about. One thing that pops out to me is that they said in the article that make clear the distinction between collegiate and professional opportunities. So it's not a salary for per se, but they are getting paid off their image and likeliness.
Well, just to be clear, the NCAA will not be giving student athletes money. Also in the release, it says clearly that you cannot be compensated for athletic participation. What they're profiting off your name, image, and likeness basically means is that you're allowed to make money off endorsements.
Yes.
If you want to sign a shooter, you can.
The NCAA will not directly give them money.
Exactly, but the NCAA wants to make that very, very clear. However, when they said they want to modernize the rules and make that consistent with the current collegiate model, that brings up a lot of questions. And one of those questions is, how is this going to be implemented? It's not. That's what the NCAA isn't really telling us. And rightfully so. They've always been a very vague organization, but a multi-billion one at that. However, it really begs a lot of questions that we just don't know the answers to yet.
They also said that they are not employees of the university, which kind of goes back to them not getting a salary and them just profiting off of outside sources. So I found that really interesting.
Well, they're not employees of the university either way. If they were to be paid for participation, maybe you can beg that question. Then you get into the topic of scholarships.
Yeah.
What happens with that? Frederick Scott of the men's basketball team, a redshirt junior, he said to me that he just really values his scholarship, and he thinks that if players were to be getting paid, he said it would ruin the team's chemistry, and I can absolutely see where he's coming from with that.
I've heard a lot of people say about a player earning their money for image and likeliness, and if they earn enough money, that should go towards paying back their scholarship, which defeats the purpose to me of a collegiate scholarship, of playing a sport.
Well, not every student athlete is on a full ride scholarship,
Yes,
and that's the narrative that needs to be brought down. There are people on teams who are walk-ons. Every team gets only X amount of scholarships, however many or few they are. And also not every Division I athlete is on a full ride scholarship. Some people are on full tuition. Those people still have to pay room and board and all those other miscellaneous fees that the university will ask for.
That was just a silly comment to me because, as we know, that was just directed towards the bigger name athletes, and they did not take in consideration maybe the sports that do not get enough publicity and the players in those sports.
Well, we know clearly that, like a sport like golf or field hockey, for example, they're not going to drive in revenue like a basketball or football program at a major university like the Power 5 schools, Penn State, Alabama, Kentucky, Duke, just to name a few. And that's what Harnum was telling me when I interviewed him for my story a few weeks ago, he's like, this is really going to further divide between those big name Power 5 schools and those mid-major schools like a Rider, Merrimack, Monmouth, Manhattan, all those schools in the MAC conference.
That will affect them greatly too. And the last thing I wanted to just hammer on, that there in the article is said that they will be treated similarly to just regular students of the university, which really was a head scratcher to me, because I was thinking, aren't they originally students? Why weren't they treated similarly before?
Well, I think that's also a point toward, those bigger name schools. It is shaky. Maybe they get like incentives, and it really is shaky. I'll admit I don't know all the answers. Nobody does. But I just want to make something else very clear. As soon as this bill passed, as soon as the NCAA put this press release out, my social media timeline was flooded with photoshopped images of NCAA football. And now, while that might be exciting, and while many people want to play that, you're not gonna. That's not going to happen for a little bit.
As much as we'd all love that, though. These are great points, Dylan. Thank you. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Dylan and Tom. For more updates on this NCAA matter, check into Rider Sports Report. Well, it seems like after winning their 8th straight MAC championship title, the men's swimming and diving team is off to a good start this season. At their first meet at the newly renovated pool, the team beat Lehigh to get their first win of the season, bringing their record to 1-1. The team came out victorious in 12 different events. Senior Justin Carey won all 4 of his events and broke a pool record to lead the team. He also currently has the top time in the MAC for 4 different events. Coming after his big performance against Lehigh, Carey was named MAC Swimmer of the Week for the 3rd week in a row, along with MAC Diver of the Week, Dylan Walls, who has also received this honor for the 3rd consecutive week. Walls qualified for the NCAA Zone A Diving Championships at the meet against Lehigh.
Although the women's swimming and diving team lost to Lehigh and now have an 0-2 record, 2 of their athletes have stuck out after putting on some great performances so far this season. Sophomore Kayla May was named MAC Women's Swimmer of the Week for the first time in her career after leading the team against Lehigh and winning 3 events. She currently has the top time in the MAC in the 100 back, 200 back, and 200 free. Senior Meg Tamako has been named Women's Diver of the Week for the 2nd time this season. This honor comes after her stellar performance against Lehigh, where she qualified for the NCAA Zone A Diving Championships. Congrats to both of our swimming and diving teams. Keep it up!
The volleyball team is still at it with a 4-game winning streak. Leading the pack is Morgan Romano, who has been dominating her freshman season by being named Rookie of the Week for the 9th time and Player of the Week for the 2nd time, all in the same week. She is also number 1 in the MAC and in the top 5 in the country for total points and kills. The team played back-to-back days against Siena and Marist, winning both matches. Against Siena, 3 Rider players recorded 10 or more kills. Romano also got her 8th double-double of the season against Siena. Annalise Sherritt earned her 7th double-double of the year, with 46 assists and 10 digs.
The women's soccer team has been gearing up for the MAC playoffs, which will start on November 3rd with their quarterfinal game on her very own Ben Cohen Field against number 6 Niagara. The Lady Bronx loss against Iona on October 30th is bringing them into the playoffs at the number 3 seed. Freshman forward Haley Russell was just named MAC Rookie of the Week for the 2nd time this year, after scoring both goals in Riders' overtime win against Canisius. Russell is leading the team with 6 goals and a team best of 3 game winning goals. The women's basketball team was picked to finish 3rd in the MAC preseason polls. They came in with 103 points, just 1 point behind Quinnipiac. Stella Johnson made history by being the first player in program history to be named MAC Preseason Player of the Year. 3 Lady Bronx were selected to preseason MAC teams. Stella Johnson was a unanimous pick for first team. Following behind her is Amari Johnson, 2nd team, and Leah Favre picked to 3rd team in the preseason All-MAC selections. The Lady Bronx will kick off their season against Princeton on November 5th.
The men's basketball team was picked to finish 2nd in the MAC preseason poll, falling behind Iona, who was picked to finish 1st. A league high of 4 Rider players were selected to the preseason All-MAC teams. These players include Stevie Jordan to the 1st team, Frederick Scott and Demencio Vaughn to the 2nd team, and Tyre Marshall to the 3rd team. An exhibition game will be played on November 2nd against Slippery Rock University, before the Bronx open their season on November 5th at Coppin State. I spoke with the men's head coach, Kevin Baggett, to get more of an insight as to what we can expect for this upcoming season. Hey everyone, I'm Kelly Phillips with Rider Sports Report, and right now I am joined with head coach of the men's basketball team, Kevin Baggett. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Great. So the team is already off to a great start. You have 2 wins under your belt. What are your expectations for them this season?
Really, our expectations is take it day by day, game by game, get better every day. As a basketball team, get better every day as individuals, as coaches, and just be a better team and focus on the details of what we need our guys to do in order for us to have success.
Looking back at last season at the team, how do you think they've improved so far already this season?
I think this summer they came back with the right mindset. I thought they came back in shape. I thought guys came back focused. I asked everybody to look in the mirror, starting with me, in terms of what it is that we didn't do well enough. I think too many times people, feel good about what they did do. And in order for you to progress and be successful, you have to look at the things that you didn't do or things that you needed to do better. And it starts with me. And so I needed to look myself in the mirror and find out what it is that I needed to do to help this team to be successful in each and every individual. And so if you're asking me that, I would tell you guys really did a good job of self-analyzing, looking at what it is that they needed to do better, their focus. And I think so far so good. They came back in shape, came back focused, identified some of the things that we needed to do better that we didn't do last year. And it just starts with, just the mental approach of it. So I thought so far our guys have done a good job with that.
Yeah, that's great because, like you already said, it does start with the mental side of the sport. Now, on the other side of it, what needs to be worked on leading up to the end of the season? I know we just started, but leading up to the end so there is a good outcome for the team.
Just getting better as individuals because we're only going to be as good as the individuals on our team. And so to me, I always stress the details for our players, the little things that we're asking them to do that make the big things. A couple of things, just for example, like defend the three-point line. So far, we're off to a good start. I thought we did a good job, against Delaware State, which was our last game. And before that, we did a good job in the first half. We didn't do nearly as good of a job against Copper State. I thought they hit some big threes. But then the second half, we kind of rallied and solidified things. And so defending the three-point line is a big thing for us. Just team defense. Obviously, I say to our guys all the time, we might not be the best individual defenders, but as far as a team defending team, we want to be in the top three in our league. And I thought they're off to a good start, just focusing on the team, and understanding that it's going to be 1 against 5, meaning that basketball against 5 guys defending the ball. And so our guys have been pretty focused in terms of, understanding on the defensive end is where it all starts for us and being able to do that. Because offensively, this group that we have has been able to score since they've been in our program.
Looking at the rest of the conference, who do you think is going to be the toughest competition, and how do you plan on attacking that as a team?
That's a loaded question there. To me, every game is a tough game. The next game is always the hardest game for us, and that's the way we approach it. I think our league is very good. I think there are a lot of teams in our league that have just the same opportunity that we had to be very good. So. But we're gonna focus on it in the team that next game, and obviously we know the Ionas of the world are going to be very good, but there are a lot of teams in our league. The Mamas, it's too many teams at this point to really identify one team in particular and say, hey, we gotta be ready for them. Because when everybody always asks me like, is that a good team? Is that a good team? Right. It's hard to win at this level, so every team is good to me.
So now that the MAC championships have been brought back to New Jersey and they're going to be played in Atlantic City this year, do you think that's kind of motivating the team a little bit to push to get to that level, even more than they're already, since it's going to be kind of home team advantage?
I just think that regardless of where the tournament is, we need to do a better job. I need to do a better job coaching. I'm reminded all the time, and the quarterfinals got to get past that, but at the end of the day, we just got to be ready wherever it is. We're obviously excited that it's in Atlantic City. It's closer for us. It's on a neutral site, and the fact that our fans will be able to travel, less an hour, a little bit more than an hour to be able to go and watch us play in a tournament. To me, it will be an advantage for us, and we're excited about everything that it presents to go to Atlantic City. But we just need to put ourselves in a good position throughout the year, and especially when it comes time for conference play, and then go up there and do what we need to do in order for us to have success.
And one last question for you. What kind of characteristics do you, as a coach, like to implement on your players? Not only like on the court, but off the court, like life lesson kind of thing, just to make them all around better individuals?
Well, to me, it starts with off the court, being a good person, being a good student, a good student athlete. They're here for a reason. They're here to get their education. And so first and foremost, I want them to be studious. I want them to go to class, which they do. I want them to study and get good grades, which our guys, they do a really good job of. They take their academics very serious. And then I want them to interact with the student body on campus, because it's very important. We always talk about, you never know the young man to your right, the young lady to your left, who they might be. They might be someone at the end of the day that you go into business with or what have you. Just be a good person and treat people the way that you want to be treated, and be respectful, and be mindful that you always have someone watching you. And, if you are a good person, then people are going to want to reach out and help you. But if you send off that body language where you don't want to be bothered or you don't want to talk to people, that's not good. So just being a good person. And to me, that's what we first and foremost look when we recruit young men here, because this is a family atmosphere, and everyone here at Rider is very supportive of our basketball program, and we want everybody to be a part, and we don't want them to identify guys and say they don't like this guy, they don't like that guy. We want our guys to be liked, and we want people to come out and support them. So it's very important that they're good people, first and foremost.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. That's always good to hear with a team who's just looked at in the spotlight, too. Well, thanks for joining me.
Oh, you're
and
quite welcome.
Good luck with the rest of the season. We'll be checking in, and can't wait to see how it goes. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll catch you guys later.
That was a great interview. Thanks so much for watching another episode of Rider Sports Report.
Follow us on Instagram at Rider Sports Report for updates, and let us know what you want to see in future episodes.
Once again, I'm Christian McCarville.
And I'm Kelly Phillips.
And you're watching
Rider Sports Report.